All right, viewers of the YouTubeness, here is the Hot Heels. And the Hot Heels and the Helomatic have kind of been the two dominant machines for a long time on the market. You know, a long time ago it was Buford. Then Helomatic kind of came out with the old fiberglass machines, and then Hot Heels kind of came right on their heels. It's a Hot Heels joke. Anyway, so the Hot Heels is, I said, it's been out for a long time. They've done a lot of improvements, a lot of great guys over there that work at Hot Heels, and they've done a lot of things to make this a really good machine. And the I guess we'll just kind of start with, kind of go the opposite way, maybe the same way we did with the Helomatic. Go down on the tongue. This I think this is called the Crossfire, I think is what this setup is called. And like the Helomatic Ultimate, this is like their version of it. The Crossfire has a spring-loaded tongue. You can hook it up to anything, pretty much the same type of hookup as a Helomatic. Spring-loaded tongue, same deal. It's going to save your horse, save your driver, save your machine, and takes that jerk out by adding a little bit right there. So when you dally on this thing, so apples to apples there. That's a great thing on this machine, just like the Helomatic. It takes that out of there, that spring-loaded tongue. There's a bunch of different settings for it, and this one is set up now. You can pull this machine with a horse if you want to. Just hook a rope up to it. It's going to be a little bit more stable. But like I said, weight-wise, I promise you, if you think you want to pull one of these machines with a horse, by all means, go do it. And in about 5 minutes, you'll be like, man, old Drew's not as dumb and fat as he looks on TV. So that. I would say that this machine right here is set up for use with a four-wheeler. You get back to the skis. Now it has got a big old wide base on it. Kind of looks like the front end of a snowmobile. For those of you from Texas, that's a machine that goes in the snow in the wintertime in Montana. And anyway, it's got a big wide base on it. And here is one big time difference between these two. The Hot Heels has kind of a round and round tubing, and this tongue will twist, okay? It'll twist right there. So if this machine goes to twist and goes to tip over, there's nothing really stopping it, but you do have this big wide base right here. So are you gonna tip your Hot Heels over? Probably chances are not. I mean, the Helomatic has square tubing and square tubing into a solid tongue. So if you're gonna tip your Helomatic over, that means a four-wheeler is going to go with it. And if any of you have any questions about how that happens, you can call Chip Brugman, the general manager of Helomatic, because he's got plenty of experience doing that. Anyway, so these things will not tip over unless there's extreme cases, and that's really the way it is for all three machines. So are you worried about them tipping over? Not unless you're a complete moron or you're letting your girlfriend drive. So as we get back up here to the that was not an offensive comment. I did not mean that at all, by the way. So up to the head and side of this, they Hot Heels has done a lot of good things. Like I said, I haven't seen one of these machines. I've roped a Hot Heels a bunch, but I haven't seen one of the brand new ones in a while. The one thing that they did do, they've got the quick release head, or quick release horns, and it comes back, it kind of rocks out of the head. It's all bungee cord, and theirs will pop off anywhere. If you're over on this side, your rope's going to pop off. If you're over in correct position, it's going to pop off. If you're straight behind, it's going to pop off. So they've got kind of a unique design on how that works. Helomatic, like I said, it doesn't have the deal. It comes back and over like that. And the Time Machine's kind of a mix between the two, I guess. But so you do have the quick release head. The other thing that they've done is they've put kind of some leather stoppers right here just to help with burning the machine up, which is a great idea. And they put, it looks about like a 1/4 inch felt on here, which is a good idea. That's what I was talking about on the Helomatic. Kind of makes your rope feel a little bit more, and it covers up the old Hot Heels. You'd get your rope right down in here, and it would make you rope a lot of necks on these things just because the way your rope hits. The one thing that I don't like about this is that how this slopes right down in here, and it doesn't come up kind of flush to the back of the head like a steer's neck does. That may be just kind of splitting hairs a little bit, but it's one thing that I don't like. For some reason, I do rope a lot of necks on these machines. We'll see today, you know, going on. But anyway, so good things. The felt is a good deal. It's got your little leather horn wrap deals. They're screwed into the plastic, kind of help with the wear and tear. Bungee cord on the horns, it's going to pop right back, and so dang sure like that. You know, that's a good deal for headers. Like that, felt right there a little bit. Like I said, it's about a 1/4 inch. The body of the Hot Heels, hard plastic body, kind of same deal. I'm not a molecular biologist, but I bet it's the same, pretty much same kind of poly, rotational molded body. And the Hot Heels has always felt a little big to me, and I don't know if it's just because of the skis and everything out in front. Measured, I ought to throw a tape on it and see from tip to tip if this thing's probably, you know, probably about the same size as a Heliomatic maybe. Now we'll get kind of to the big difference in this machine and the Heliomatic, but almost exactly the same in the timed machine, is the big tire. Now the skis out front, a lot of the weight is going to ride. I mean, the weight's on the tire, you know, right there. I'm picking up the front, so your weight's going to be on the tire. If your arena's not groomed perfectly, this machine's going to bounce a little bit. So is the time machine, and this is the unbiased opinion of this guy. Roping these things, the Heliomatic cuts through ruts better than these two machines do, and we'll have it on camera, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel that that's the truth, just because these big tires will bounce on those ruts a little bit and just give you a little bit more of a bouncy ride. Is that a big deal? Not really. If your arena's groomed up, it doesn't really matter. We're lucky we're out here at Kerry Alcorn's arena, and he's got it all nice and groomed up for us when we rope here in a minute. So the big wheel, and it is driven, it's belt driven just like a Heliomatic, just like the time machine. Belt right there, and then it's got its whole mechanism up in here that runs the whole deal off the big tire. So how they all work is all kind of, they're all secrets of their own trade, and I think the Hot Heels has what's called a patented stride, so that's where it gets it. The big wheel drives a belt, which is going to make this thing stride or hop or whatever you want to call it. So there's grease erks on this machine, and a bunch of little stickers in the tire. But there's grease erks in the machine, so everywhere that there's a moving part, they put a grease erk, which is another great deal, like we talked about earlier. So, you know, any kind of machinery, anything that's moving parts, keep them greased, keep them WD-40'd, whatever you got to do, just help your machine last a little bit longer. One thing that you'll see on this machine that none of the other two have, that is kind of a unique deal when going down the arena, is this old head's going to bob a little bit. It's going to kind of get the old roll like that on it when you're running down the arena. So I've never really understood why they did that. I think it's a timing deal to get in time with the steer when you're heading, or in time with your horse. So I'm not smart enough to time up with the horns and my horse and my rope, so it'll probably make me miss it every time, but it does do that, which kind of an added deal right there. So the head is going to move. As we move back, I think you can see a little bit of a leg down here. They call it a gen stick, and what the gen stick mimics is a front leg on a steer. So when this thing is, when it is a wide open stride, when you should throw your rope in that big window, this is going to be forward like a front leg, this feet are going to be back, so it's to help you get in time. Great deal. You know, if this thing comes back and you're out of time, it kind of closes your chances of roping this thing out of time, so that kind of helps as well. So neat deal there. The legs are hard plastic. They've even got this thing in the left lead a little bit. If you look at it, the left leg's forward a little bit, which is what a steer that is in tow the correct way should be. One thing about this, the feet are only about, you know, 12 inches apart. That's Montana math. They're not very far apart. So it's you can kind of sneak your tip in there and get a hold of them a little bit. And so that's one thing. You know, the Heliomatic has pretty wide legs. The time machine has pretty wide legs. The Hot Heels just a little bit narrower. The action of this machine, when we get in the arena, you'll be able to see it. The feet are going to come back. The hips are going to go up. It's not going to have the same as the Heliomatic, or all of their actions on the back end are different, and it's just because of how their mechanics of the insides work. But this machine is the feet are gonna kick back and go forward, and the hip is gonna go up and down as well. So there is a timing aspect of this machine. So that's, you know, that's, like we say, that's really important. And then we'll just see when we get on a horse how they all time out a little bit different. So coming back up front, we do have 2 different speeds, I think. 2 different pulleys, and 2 different pulleys with the speed, so you can swap the pulleys out on this as well. And really and truly, I don't know how hard or how easy it is, so I'm going to say that it's probably easy if you're really good with a wrench. Hot heels, all in all, like I said before, if you don't have a machine, you need a machine. It doesn't matter. Any of these 3 machines are great. I think that's really it. If I was to pick one great thing about it, I would say that I love the felt on here a lot. I think that's a great deal for headers, for catching your rope. And we'll just kind of see about the stride and everything else when we hook it up. But other than that, rope's gonna pop off. You can dally on this thing as hard as you want, right? 1 leg, 2 legs, right leg, left leg. So, and then has the gen stick there. If you think you're out of time, then it's gonna let you know that as well. So that is the hot heels from tip to tip, and we'll talk about the time machine here in just a second.